This is, of course, the VC panel, otherwise known as Show Me the Money. That was a joke. You can laugh. We can do a sound test. Ha ha ha. All right. Okay. Great. We have with us here, of course, we have limited time, but we have with us here Shruti Kohli. You know her from BitTrue, as well as Sumit, who is from Blockshift Capital, right? If you don't know about it, I'm going to let them speak about it a little. Just brief introductions, a little of your history, so that the people over here who are not familiar with you become familiar with you.
Good evening, everyone. Glad to be here. And I'm here with it. Like I can, after 7 days exhausted events, we still speak able to take care. So thanks for that. I'm basically director and BitTrue, like a foreign exchange. I have cost of global operations, and I look after listings. We kind of scout and we get to do with projects on regular basis. Plus, I look at a lot of global collabs. And the side I also have one more venture arm. Obviously, of course, I had the projects well furthered.
Thank you. Sumit?
Yeah, so myself, Sumit, I run a Blockshift Capital. It's a liquid investment fund. We do liquid markets as well early stage, but we are really getting new into early stage, but we are focused mostly on liquid investments, which are already in the market.
Let's look at some of the trends that have happened, right? We're just coming out of a bear market. Yeah. 2022 has been one of those crying years, literally, where investments were concerned, right? But at the same time, there have been certain insights that have evolved out of this point. Sumit, let's start with you. What have you seen as a trend, being somebody in the space for as long as you have? What have you seen as a trend that usually happens for this bear market? Are we looking at something great happening in this coming up year?
So if you look at the overall, how many bull market has been gone. So there is always something new coming in the market. There is also in bear market, there were projects. In being in bear market, did 100x's for a lot of retail investors. Some of the examples are CASPA. It's a DFT consensus mechanism, blockchain using acrylic consensus mechanism. So it's all about how much you put in efforts on daily basis. This market is so dynamic that it feels like 10 years is like 1 month here in this market. It's so dynamic on this basis. So I feel that understanding what's happening, where the on-sheet capital is going, as of now, then it comes to the sexes. So that's where you become a little bit late.
Right.
You kind of become an exit liquidity for on-chain folks.
Right.
So being really curious about on-chain, what's happening, and what new things are happening, and what devs are talking about.
Right.
That's what I feel now.
Okay, so that means obviously the audience in the room has got something that's got something that's certainly contributing to this in particular. Fantastic, great. Shruti, what about you? What are some of the things you've noticed from your perspective?
So honestly, when people talk about bear market or bull market, of course, I'm architect. I wouldn't deny that. But at the same time, it has really worked well for certain kind of projects, which I get everyone related to that. And something else just felt is actually that time gave kind of a breather because the speed was going so fast. I think that just helped people to expand their network. So it made people just ask me that, probably you have no work to do, right? The market is doing bad. I said, no, this is my time to invest and understand what people are building kind. And when you talk about trends, where generally that this entire year has been all about AI, significant and significantly that AI has actually dived into a vast user adoption. Now, if you look at everybody is willing to use those tools. So we really are saying that probably the market as such in terms of money was slow, but the market in terms of development on tech side on mass adoption is definitely coming right.
Certainly, I mean, and it seems that almost every cycle has a new flavor, right? There's like, yeah.
It has to, that's the law of nature that unless until you don't see a pullback, right. How you move it and try to reveal something new, yeah. Which is going to then bring a big bang here again.
Okay. Okay, so dialing it back to investments, let's take the perspective of retail investors, let's take the perspective of VCs also, right? Both of these are a different type of investor. Both of these are required for projects for them to evolve, of course. But at the same time, when it comes to, let's hit a little upon the regulation that we're anticipating that's going to come, and some of which already has been formed. Wild West earlier years, no doubt, right? Absolutely nothing. What are some of the regulations you're expecting are going to make a difference, at least till the end of 2024?
So in terms of regulation, as you see in India, there are big exchanges like CoinDCX is a player. So what I feel about regulation in India is that people should be first educated very well about this ecosystem. And the regulation for a government perspective is also very hard.
Right.
Because this is like you have MetaMask and similar. So you can track everything, but it's a lot of complexity for government.
Right.
Governments are not that rapid to take innovate in that sense to understand in depth about how this all works. You can do it certainly in sexes, but what you will do for DeFi?
Yeah.
So that's the thing which I think is important
Okay.
to go.
So-
How you can bring regulation on DeFi, that is, and then doesn't make sense is for then. Like there is nothing much left after that if you bring regulation on DeFi.
Fair enough. Okay. Shruti?
So when I look at regulations, I look at it from 2 point of views. So you have 2 types of stakeholders here. One can be regulation coming within the company or the group of people who are working. And second is, of course, the government, which we cannot just let go.
Right.
Over the centuries, over the decade, like I know since the human beings started to business, this all this in the century point. And that's essential. You really cannot work, unless you don't have like center. Now coming to regulation, so where you have government at least taking some kind of clear direction, the first advantage would be that you would have more users coming to adopt this, right? Because immediately you gain amount of confidence when you know that there is a government backing, because there are still a lot of people who believe that it is essential that there is government backed or not. Because at the end of the day, they may take a point on a decision that they don't support it. And a lot of startups we know had to actually exit the market because of regulations. So that cannot be working in, it cannot be isolated completely. But at the same time, regulations within the industry or within the company that is operating is extremely essential.
Right.
Because when you have a straight vision on direction and working in terms of regulation, it just makes life easier and leads more confidence.
Fair enough. To add to that, I also think that when you have regulations, you have a clear structure in which things are going to follow, right? It's like this. It's like if you're saying that crypto's in a gray area, but there's 30% tax, that means the remaining 70% is okay.
Yeah.
Right? That's effectively is what's being said. But yet at the same time, you see that we've lost a lot of businessmen, we've lost a lot of business, we've lost a lot of user accounts that originated from India, no matter what the IP says, but have now moved on to other spaces, right? Do you think that we'll be able to see some of that come back in some way?
See, it turns into you're talking only about India. In fact, I wanted to add a point in you were saying that is India already got there. But we are not realizing the fact that digitizing first step, we are still in the process. I myself am a charity partner and I have seen over the decade when I was working as a tax expert. Right. Initially, everything was manual returns. Slowly, we moved on to filing it on a platform. And then now we have remittance, which is just go and they automatically pick up. That digitization has happened, right? And just look at the kind of, the population and, it's huge. And still, we are digitizing it. So the moment that step is complete, I think the adoption would be faster. Of course, it is coming into clear detection and you're not to do it. And discipline. Because I think any success, these are essentially ingredients. So you might get all the knowledge, you get all the tech side, you get the best builders on board. But unless until you don't have a regulatory framework, it all goes in vain.
To draw them back in the that will be
Yes. And we do not, I won't take names, everybody knows. Major ecosystem had to data based on entire to buy.
yes, totally. And that's also experienced some of the MCs.
If you see, there are a lot of tech startups in the US. Like in US, if you do a lot of like venture funds also, they need to do a lot of bookkeeping. They need to do give details for the 401ks and key ones to the investors.
Right.
So now I am seeing that the on-chain data is also pulled off with a lot of SaaS startups. So you can see that the amount of efforts people are putting into these things where not proper infrastructure is even built.
Right.
You are putting money in a token where you are seeing future upside, but you don't have a background knowledge.
Right.
So you see there is some sort of a belief and incentivization.
Right.
Consider this when stock market or any market came like hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
This is something like that. Without a lot of intermediaries.
Right.
You can go and deploy a contract, and if
Right.
you can sell the ideas to one of audience,
Right.
you can make it big.
Okay.
So in terms of regulations, I think it is picking up. All the governments are trying and
Okay.
this.
Okay, so before you share the mic, on that same note, so we can put an end to this, on your wish list for regulations, right, or at least one law that makes everyone's life easier, what would that wish be?
In regulation, I think that government should start supporting this sort of infrastructure, like enterprise sector, private blockchains, and then a government should start adopting this fast-paced knowledge. That's what I would feel.
Fantastic, thanks. Shruti, your wishes.
Yeah, so I'm just want that, they should allow them to first, start the decision about. And actually, that people have, that should be the first step. And then at least getting some direction on the tax side. Because at, a moment update within the tax and with things I'm not caring, if I'm going to do an investment, or I want to bring this capital, what is going to be it? The fear of losing money.
Indeed. Okay. That being said about regulations, we have an idea about the future being brighter, right? I want to look at now a little more towards where the trend is going to take place in this particular. Let's take a look back first, right? The year has been limited in terms of the number. So with sexes indexes, we've seen that there's been now fewer companies that are listing, right? Have you seen, what is your perspective from the industry that has been a sort of percentage drop? Just so that we paint a picture to start with to where we are going to go.
So I guess the maximum drop I saw was in GameFi project.
Okay.
I think very strange to understand that because again, GameFi already have a huge user base.
Right.
And they are working something which common people are looking at.
Right.
Onboard those spectral users onto a metric platform. But sometimes, I saw that a lot of amazing games were being built. But this year they slowed down on the effort, the ICOs, the ideas, everything was significantly delayed.
Right.
So yeah, that was one sector which I saw drop visibly last year.
Okay. Sumit, have you noticed something similar, or have you, from a perspective of types of projects that have come in for investment, for example?
Types of projects?
Projects, the categories, like she said, GameFi, you have, of course, DeFi ones, you'll have infrastructure services and so on. Have you seen a drop compared to last year's numbers?
Yeah, because the new things have come.
Right.
BRC20
Right.
or then crypto is all about new things.
Right.
That's how this small world is all about.
Right.
So drawback, I cannot tell it a drawback. Is that you need something new to play.
Right.
That's how it is.
Right.
I've always been like that. I used to search different coins back in 2019, 20 on DEXs. Then I got to know about GameFi, then GameFi infrastructure. So everything sometimes new. I told you like Kappa was not a new technology, but they pitched it so well.
Well, yeah.
That's what they are.
Yeah, it's certainly a leaf to take out of that playbook. So now we are of course looking at AI as being the next, the next thing to look forward to. There's been some great growth that has happened in that space. You've seen some good launches that have happened also in the middle of the year, with some phenomenal ROI. Yet these seem to be very peppered. It seems to be very sporadic, right? What's your take on more development coming? Maybe this is a question to ask the audience. So yeah. So raise your hand if you're working on an AI project at this point. Okay. Okay, fine. Just a handful. How many of y'all are working on a GameFi project? Okay. So yeah, you're right. The numbers have dropped. Okay. Yeah.
Web3 plus AI in the coming 6 months. That was the real good one for.
You still have 3 hands up. Okay. The rest of y'all 4. All right. So it's moving so fast. Okay. Are the rest of y'all in infrastructure in some way? Yes? Yes? Okay. Great. Fantastic. Good. So there is a trend. There is, of course, an aspect to look forward to. I mean, that's fantastic. Let's pivot a little to community, right? Community, of course, being from either your supporters or your retail investors. Very quickly, have you seen cases where community has really been able to pivot a project to such a level that it has been unexpected, whether it is positive or in the negative line?
I'll go. If you know the biggest TVL right now is Arbitrum.
Right.
It's all led by community.
Right.
Like the DAO. I don't know Arbitrum fumbles that code. If you see Polygon has a growth, but it's because of the phase of the founders, also for the BD team.
Correct.
But in Arbitrum, what I see is because of the community itself. On the TVL which is coming, it's on because of the community. The most TVL currently, other than ETH, is on Arbitrum on layer 2s. So I see the community can do change really well.
Okay, so Arbitrum is a great case. Shruti, what do you have? You come across one recently?
Yeah, so of course, keys, of course, nobody's going to deny me. I won't talk about that. One, I was just discussing with my friend, and I was like, what were super teas on Solar?
Okay.
Completely community driven. They don't have a token. Okay. Still, the kind of traction that they have drawn and the way they have posted the difficulty. I mean, I didn't judge a project or any company by looking at the Twitter followers, when I look at how organically, the community engagement has been. So that's a super big example, actually.
Okay, so super teams for Solana. Okay. So at the same time, then what about where VCs bring in or your accelerators bring in an add-on community? Maybe on one part, what are some of the differentiators you think that make it work or will make it work in the coming months?
So if you're talking from the perspective of a VC, then they had projects for investment.
Looking at projects for investments, but also bringing their community to those investments. Yeah.
See, of course, we cannot go by that. For any project, it says all the stakeholders say I'm equally important to it. Right? And coming to VCs where they look at projects, so it's not essential that the project should be something very innovative and it should be something which has never come on the plate.
Right.
Because we have seen classic examples where that solution of already being provided.
Right.
But getting in more people doing a similar job kind of needs an excel as well.
Right.
So when it comes to getting in the community or driving the community, you're just getting a more user adoption,
Right.
which is must. You're advocating about that, the solution that is being in the market. You're getting in more confidence.
Right.
Right? And those are, I think, the pillars to kind of expand the community we are in.
Right.
Currently, you look at the numbers, the people who are actively in the community are very small compared to, what potential it has. Amazing potential. Even if we talk to a lot of big four employees
Right.
who work in and out on the Web2 platform.
Right.
But how are we explaining that? So the moment I was just talking to some of my ex-colleagues and I tell them that, hey, this is what I'm working on and this is what I'm if you listen to it and like, okay, is this about buying Bitcoin? And I'm telling you the fact, these are well-read people who read newspapers on regular basis and engaged are talking to the biggest industrialists and companies around the world. So when our PC is coming, when you're getting a community, the network effect is essential.
Right.
And that is how we are going to be spreading across the education.
Very, very importantly. I've got something to add there, but Sumit, let's take your perspective and then I'll weave that in.
See, in Web3, I think it works both. Whatever my experience in Web2 in Bangalore also, VCs have also now become a brand. In Web3 also, people track VCs portfolios.
Yes.
Like last 6-7 years who have performed who have good picks. As also in the Web2 world as well, if you see in Bangalore, VCs are the brands. Like, इसने invest किया तो इसमें तो कुछ दम होगा. So I think now, it's like 360 cycle. You need to work on everything. VCs also need to work on their part. Projects also need to work on their part. Indeed. So this is a ecosystem kind of thing. So it's a win-win situation, to be honest. It's not that if VC is giving you money, so he's doing, he also wants to make money. That's why he's putting money.
Of course.
So that's what I feel. Yeah.
Indeed. So in line with that, same thought, especially where VCs are adding, of course, to the projects community, right? When it comes to structuring new funds, for example, let's say where LPs are concerned, you want more investments to come in. Recently, there has been some talk about how, or rather some, I wouldn't call them projects. Let's just call them financial instruments, right? Some financial instruments that say that let's absorb money from anyone that wants to invest, and we can add that to an investment pool, and that investment pool then goes out to leasing. So are you seeing that happen more now, or do you expect that it's going to take a lot more? Because that would also be a step towards global adoption in a way, right? What do you think?
So are you talking about like this individual putting money to a fund?
Into a larger fund, yes.
That is also happening, but other than that, I'm mostly seeing that VCs also now have a community. Okay, like people like they have a Discord or something similar accelerator.
Yes, sir.
So what I am able to see is that people are now not blindly trusting people who spend 2-3 years and have seen at least one bull run or similar. So they are doing their own due diligence, reaching out to project founders directly. You can ask Dojima. A lot of people reached out to me, angel investors,
Right.
to do a due diligence and to forward into Akin to help them with all the details they want. So people are becoming smart.
Right.
And depends like how much is your knowledge level in crypto. If you don't have time, then it's not necessary to do research. You can pay money to somebody and they will do their part and help you. That's what I am seeing. But people are more focused on very high returns, so they want their own edge. So they are also doing due diligence. I think I know very good agents who spend time in this.
You know, but what you were mentioning about I came across a few people doing this article itself, where they're kind of setting up some platforms where they're going to be categorizing and giving people that these are sort of sectors where you could come and work as an initial investor. And that portfolio, that syndicate, and they'll be able to create will be very, very, I think it's essential. How advantageous it will be that, of course, for the future way that is. How does it take it back? At least, and I look at seasoned investor. So, see, that is where the interconnection comes between traditional and the new generation into Web3. Right? A seasoned investor believes in a vision and he's ready to avoid all that investment.
Right.
It is not that you invest away and you expect that it goes 100x within a year. That doesn't happen with any reason. Right. So as a seasoned investor, or at least someone coming with that potential to invest, it is volatile and every investment is subject to market risk. At Chrome that you use ad, so I remember that I would. So every investment is a first subject to market risk, but complete due diligence, having understanding detail and getting in community with that. It's what is going to be ready to make that down. One sec. I mean, suppose I see here just feel that external project is good. I go talk to 10 more people, 10 more people talk to more. So we clean that.
Would you still apply very soon that you have financials to build credit? Salaried employees just more the same way as in MTGF is done, right? Salaried employees, all of a sudden will be able to put money into the underlying sector that funds to for and not to of fiat, not also what we need to do, but they do need fiat, and then it says the market and then they tell the line.
That could be one option. Another option could also be where you tie to the few companies, right? And like you have bonuses and you have some animals. In terms of add-ons, if you get a small portion of investment that will be further. And we all know how that mechanism works. It could be a situation. So that is over and above what you're earning on your committed bonuses. But I think if this kind of a model is also, coming to face, it might just change the whole way people look at it and how does the group for the project for the it.
So I'm looking at it, I was thinking from this perspective, right? Most of them here, everyone familiar with this. Pretty much just new best. Everyone else paid to work the one, they had to buck on a field. They didn't need to do it. And we all work guys one hall.
Okay.
All the guys who are there, and they got up to 5,000 maybe 4 lines through your financial instrument. That financial instrument is assuming to go. And you may build that to say that the mutual funds.
Like, I think that's pretty hard in that returns in that sense. Like, if you put 5,000 into, if it's a large pool, then also it doesn't make sense, to be honest, around in crypto, to be honest. In startups also, if you see there were sort of like Republic and all where you put in money, but I don't see significant because VCs have a very high risk appetite because they put it in 1,000 companies, they make it in 1-2 into similar, and that sort of risk capacity is not available with an individual investor. Right. So rather than just people should do an SIP for 25-30 years and bet if in India, bet on India's future, which will give mega returns, to be honest. That's what I feel.
Fair enough. Okay, so that's it. Because I'm saying this is because we are looking at market condition. As I still go to page report, right? Was from the PFO, when I asked me, he says, do you know about mutual funds? I said, yes. He says, is it with the list? right? This is somebody already asked me about pretty down more. So I said, yes. And he asked me to work about shares. I said, oh, it's sure, but we need to like better returns, right? And then he asked the company in my pocket, the flow. He asked him, so what about crypto? Now let me give you a background about this trial. This trial is from Bihar. His house is 60 kilometers away from the airport, right? I don't think it's just tier 1, tier 2. I don't think there's this tier united yet for the range that he's in. But he's asking this question because there is somebody in this direction who is asking them that here's the financials, if you 5,000 increase, every month we give you 500 time, right? And then it will be a second critical. What eventually can happen is people, oh, look, this is the scene that it is. Now, whether they are or they are not, and they give the value tag. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is happening in cases individuals across the year that we are not aware of. Is that something that you see is going on or something, and anything else that's come up somewhere? I wanted to share it with you. The fact that I recorded your first all of these panel at Dojima, can you talk to people about crypto? We have to go further adoption, just in the right way, right? So that being said, very quickly to wrap up this week. Pat, your vision of the next, let's say the next couple of years, where the book is done, what to looking forward to? We want to use our before further thing in that again.
Yeah, so first the current paper starting. So we create a very and people from investing always just to see really win there. When we look at sectors essentially that would be would be required to be doing. One should be privacy to them, because that is again what it just helped it really confident and security. Second, I think it's creativity, because we see only L1s eligible to be bidders. So that liquidity in your World Cup team, now doing the creativity out on there. That is another sector that I really exactly see any audience is going to turn up.
Super. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm all in crypto for coming 2 years. After that also, I also don't have a core idea what will happen when the bulk institutional capital comes in. Then I think moving prices like this would be difficult. That's what I'm feeling. So yeah, I'm all in for 2 years. After that, I also don't know what will happen.
Okay, so then that's, so I think that's a signal for his exit strategy. More than one. So for us at Adwood, where we take projects from zero to IPO, our focus is very clear. Any kind of projects that are that have strong fundamentals, a solid team, right, is investable. Because like we said before, the vision is what is. So if you're building and you have vision and you will have the right team put together, the future looks very bright. Crypto is here to stay, we all know that. Not just the technology, but even the investment, and trust you follow us as investor, there's always technology forward. That being said, thank you so very much, Triti, for being here.
Thank you.
It's visitor singing. Lovely to have met the two of you in person for the first time. And especially thanks to Dojima and the team here, especially Juliet, for getting us on this panel. Thank you very much, audience, as well. I would have appreciated to pick some more master for our session for touch months.